Autumn's Legacy, a Seasons of Magic urban fantasy novel, written by Sarah Biglow, narrated by Stephanie Dillard. September 17, 2017. 1. Giving the place I'd called home for the last 6 years one last look, I climbed behind the driver's seat of the rental truck. I pulled up Kelton and swung a right onto Commonwealth Avenue, well on the way to the next chapter of my life, one where JT waited for me at night, or at least on the days he wasn't pulling double shifts. "I'm proud of you," Dad said from the passenger seat. I glanced at him as I eased to a stop at a red light. I'd spent a good part of the last decade hating the man beside me, mostly because of not understanding what he'd lost and sacrificed the night my mother died. Being forced to save the world and rejoin the magical community had changed my perspective, and we were in a better place, one that involved him helping pack up boxes right beside me and moving them to the 2-bedroom condo JT and I were now renting. I'd spent so much time at his place these last few months, it just made sense to share a lease. "It was time to move anyway," I said, and pressed on the gas. He shook his head, a small smile flickering across his lips. "You know, I always liked JT. I wasn't always in on all the magic stuff when you were growing up, but I remember when you two first met." His smile grew bigger. "You were maybe 10 or 11, and you marched right up to him introducing yourself. Not as Ezri, but as the savior. And he said, 'I'm the healer.' It was beautiful." "I remember that too," I said, smiling to myself. "Anyway," he continued, "I'm glad you found your way back to each other, and I feel like I haven't said it enough lately, but I'm so glad you're back in my life, Ez." "I am too, Dad, and I'm sorry for shutting you out for so long. I was a stubborn kid who thought she knew what was best and what had actually happened when I had no clue. I didn't listen when you tried to tell me. I was wrong."
"I know your mother would be proud of the woman you've become, too," he said, his expression going misty-eyed.
"I know she is." I hadn't gotten up the nerve to tell him that 6 months ago I'd communed with her spirit, or at least a part of her magic she'd left behind for me. I also didn't have the heart to tell him she was gone for good now, sacrificing herself a second time to save me and help stop.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?